Hi, I'm Tracy Sofra and welcome to the Women of Wealth podcast, dedicated to helping women achieve financial independence and thrive in every area of her life. Can you believe we've said goodbye to 2025? And I know we're sort of mid-January, but regardless of whether this past year has been memorable or not, the new year offers a fresh start, doesn't it? I find it always exciting to be able to reset and rethink how things should play out in the year that's coming. So now that we've closed off 2025, let's do a financial and mental reset. Let's do that to stay focused and be unstoppable in the year ahead. The first reset I want you to kind of think about and look at is reflection. What worked and what didn't last year. So let's do a bit of a breakdown on that. But just before that, I want to share a quote with you. I'm a bit of a quote girl. Author Richard Carlson said, "Reflection is one of the most underused yet powerful tools for success," and it is so true. It is underused and it is incredibly powerful. And I always say this when I'm talking, just off on a tangent here, but when I'm talking about setting goals for the future, I'm always thinking and sharing with my members and my team specifically that we've got to reflect on what has happened, what's gone well, what hasn't gone well, and then be able to reset goals. So the first reflection I would like you to think about is what worked and what didn't last year. Because if you think about it, we live in a world where new is always perceived as being better. Technology is constantly advancing. As you know, we're in the age of AI now, so this is sort of like you're constantly on all the time trying to preempt what's about to come. And there is so much emphasis on the future, is there not? So the only thing I want to say about that is that learning from our past really helps us to not make the same mistakes or not repeat the same mistakes if we don't look at our past. So with that being said, let's take a moment to reflect on the past year and let's have a look at, as I mentioned, what's worked and what hasn't worked. Let's look at what's worked first, yeah? What were the financial wins in 2025? So as you know, we love celebrating wins at WOW, and I love celebrating any kind of win. Progress counts, whether it's a big leap or whether it's a small one. It really doesn't matter because the little ones all add up to the big ones, don't they? So it's all worth acknowledging. So what I want you to do is make a list of all of your financial wins. And this is part of the reflection process, obviously, and I do this myself, and I literally go back to, because I still have a paper diary, which I love. And so I physically go back in that diary to the month of Jan, and I start looking at every single entry, every single day across the months. And it's quite extraordinary how it allows me to pick up what I have been able to accomplish, no matter how small or large. So I want you to make a list, do a similar sort of thing to list all of your wins. Now, if you're drawing a bit of a blank and you're like, oh, how am I going to do this? Here's a way to spark your memory over and above checking every single, month in the previous year. Think about things like this. Did you create and stick to a budget? That's a win. Did you make consistent debt repayments or did you pay off debt? That's a win. Did you hit your savings goal? That's a win. Did you stay within your Christmas budget? Did you have a Christmas budget? Did you stay within that budget? That is a win. And did you take a mental health day instead of shopping? Win. Yep. So did you stop yourself from impulse buying, when you're kind of scrolling on Amazon in particular? Another win. Did you read a book on financial literacy? In particular, did you read my book? That is actually on Amazon. That is another win. So I just want you to think, when you're listing your wins, don't sell yourself short ever. If you hit a financial goal, I want you to celebrate it. I want you to take your list and give yourself literally a pat on the back, because it's incredibly powerful to be able to do that reflection and acknowledge those wins. And when you say it out loud even, you'd be surprised at how good it actually feels. Remind yourself you achieved something no matter how small. Acknowledgement is a really, really important factor of being able to move forward. So what are the things that didn't go really well? What habits helped you? Sorry, before I go into that, let's talk about what habits helped you to move forward. So now that you can see the progress that you've made, I want you to ask yourself a couple of more questions. What habits or resources helped you achieve those particular goals? Because habits are the glue that holds together progress, right? Habits are things that help you to progress and help you to achieve those goals a little bit at a time, and it doesn't feel so erroneous. So maybe you woke up early to work on your passion project, or maybe it's a habit. You created a new habit that the first thing you do in the morning when you get a coffee is not to look on your phone in the mornings. Maybe you did that. Those small, consistent actions, which are your habits, they keep you focused on the ones you want to carry into the new year. So you want to be keeping those particular habits, and you want to continue them and ingrain them to help you progress forward in terms of reaching the goals that you want to reach in the year ahead. But have a look at those habits that helped you achieve your goals in 2025, and make sure you're using them in the year ahead in 2026. What goals didn't go as planned? Yeah? And ask yourself, what didn't go well and why didn't it go well? So now that you've acknowledged what went well, I want you to look at what didn't. And this process is not about shaming yourself. We're not in the habit of doing those sorts of things. It's about recognizing the barriers you faced and planning a better pathway forward. Unless you break that down, unless you reflect on these sorts of things, how are you ever going to kind of overcome these obstacles and think of different ways? It's a bit of a context thing. It's a bit of a open your mind and look at better ways of doing things to help you progress in 2026. So take a look at the goals you didn't fully achieve, or that you made partial progress on, not complete progress. What were the obstacles that got in the way? Can you list them? What life events did things come up for you? Lack of resources. Were there resources that you needed that you couldn't, you didn't get and you couldn't progress with? Was there no solid support systems to help you achieve that? I want you to jot down what went wrong and ask yourself, do you see the same issues popping up in the new year? If so, how can you prepare? Again, it's about going back and reflecting on these to make sure that we're not repeating the same things over and over again. The second reset I want you to look at is refresh your budget and savings plan. Yeah. So there wouldn't be a podcast that I would do if I didn't mention these sorts of things, obviously. So chances are 2026 won't be a replica of 2025. You might have a new job, a recent move, or added expenses. Things change all the time, nothing's static. So that's why it's crucial to update your budget and savings plan. And I always say to those who work with me directly in our programs in Wow Women, particularly our flagship program called Empower, the cornerstone of that particular program looks at the cash flow analysis, a nicer way to express the word budget. And I always say to each and every single one of my members, make sure you're reviewing that at this early stage every single week. It's not something you set and forget and never have a look at again, because your financial life is not static. It is forever changing. So make sure that you're looking at those things and you're updating it. And your savings plan is a result of the budget anyway. So you're setting this budget. Budget is, what is it? What's coming in and what's going out? And then we're hoping for a surplus, and what is the savings plan for that surplus? And ultimately, we don't save, we invest. So I'm going another step further, but siphoning that money out, paying yourself first, and then deciding where you're going to allocate those funds in terms of an investment. But here's where to start. Consider any lifestyle changes affecting your income or expenses, and adjust your budget accordingly, okay? So next, you want to pick your savings categories. We usually recommend an emergency fund first, plus a savings account for fun goals like holidays or big purchases. Estimate the cost of each and allocate budget portions to them, making sure that they're recognised within your budget. Once you know what you're saving for, set up an automatic transfer. set yourself up for success. Life is busy. We don't have time to get on and remember every single week to transfer this to that and that to this and so on and so forth. So make sure you're doing your direct debits. Those automatic setups are awesome because this is going to let you build your savings effortlessly without ever overthinking it. The third reset I want you to look at is decluttering your finances and your life. So with your budget refreshed, let's do a declutter of your finances and your life, looking at the next lot of steps. Start by gathering all of your financial documents. Now, whether you receive them via email or paper, usually on my email, I set up particular folders for specifics and make sure they're in their particular folders so I can easily find them and they're not just sitting in my inbox. So make sure you're gathering all of these documents, whether they're digital or physical, in the one place, Make sure you're organising them and compartmentalising them for ease of use. Sort them into categories. So one category is delete or shred. Delete meaning, the digital, and shred is obviously the shredder. So delete or shred or keep. So shred anything that is out of date or irrelevant. It gives you that decluttering is really like housekeeping, like cleaning out the pantry. It's refreshing. It takes that burden away from you. It feels nice and clean and decluttered, and it's great for mental health, let me tell you. So shred anything that's outdated or irrelevant. Keep items for active accounts, obviously, and for keepers, obviously, digitise where possible to a safe place, okay? Organise what remains by category, things like tax documents, contracts, receipts, things like that. You can use a compendium. You know how you've got the A to Z compendiums. You can have one for each financial year if you wish, and you can, and this is for paper stuff, obviously, and, you can put it on the compendium at the start, 24, 25 financial year and so on and so forth. You can choose binders, separate folders, or a hard drive, whatever works for you. Work out whatever works for you, but compartmentalise is the important thing. And lastly, sweep your home and remove any unused items from each room. Declutter the house. Get rid of the box that's been sitting there for the last 6 months because you didn't know what to do with it. Deal with it. Do something with it. It's either, as I say to my family, it's either in or out. Which one is it? Clearing your space can help you cultivate new energy. I know this may sound woo-woo, but it's not. It cultivates new energy for the new year. Declutter and let's start again. It's a beautiful thing. The fourth reset I want you to look at is set clear financial goals for 2026. Goals are the cornerstone to achievement. So now that you have a clear picture of your financial life in 2025, let's use it to plan out 2026. Here's how to set goals you're actually going to stick to. So I recommend 3 steps or 3 tiers. So goal number 1, obviously we've got long-term, mid-term, short-term. So those sort of 3 tiers help you compartmentalise again the type of goals. So if we're talking goal number 1 being long-term, aim for year-end wins like boosting net worth, paying off big debt, or hitting a major savings target. Big goals by the end of the year, long-term. Mid-term target, 4 to 6 months, achieving these in the 4 to 6 month time frame. Remember, when we're setting goals, we want time frames because otherwise it becomes this endless thing that's never achieved. So 4 to 6 months may be saving $2,000 or increasing your income to a set amount. Things that you can achieve in the midterm, 4 to 6, and short term, focus on quick wins like paying off your credit card, going cash only for a month, or playing no spend months. And you can also break down, for example, your long-term goals into smaller, more manageable steps. I usually do this. So if I've got a big goal by the end of the year, in terms of I want to have invested, 10,000, 20,000, whatever it may be, you can break it down to smaller steps. So as an example, if your goal is to save 10,000 this year, aim for 5,000 by mid-year, 2.5 per quarter, or 833 per month. It can help you track towards that. Obviously, some months may be bigger than others, or maybe you break it down into weeks, and depending on your pay cycle or whether you're in business and you take a profit draw at the end of the month, break it down into the cycle that works for you so you can keep a track and you can stay on top of that long-term target. The fifth reset I want you to look at is to rebuild your routines with intention. Intention is a really powerful word, by the way. Now that you've laid the foundations for 2026 by setting goals, let's zoom in and restructure your routines. Build daily habits around your goals, and habits, as I say, are the sticky things like receiving finances weekly or checking your bank account before leaving the house. Leverage these habits that you've already built towards driving progress forward. So leverage off these. Leverage means use them to catapult you to another level. Next, I want you to reflect on how you want to spend your time in 2026. We're still at the early stages of the year. Where will you direct your energy? Yeah? Towards more self-care, extra free time, or something else you've been craving. Sit and be mindful, be intentional, and set those particular goals. Start creating routines that support the life that you want to live. It is so easy to fall back into the old routines, the old traps, but unless you set these particular goals with intention and allow yourself the time to sit and digest and really think about, what do I want for the year ahead? Allow yourself that creative time, that almost meditative space to be able to picture that in your mind, and make sure you're documenting these things, yeah? It's really, really important to write these down. It's really hard to be able to remember everything from the day before because life is so busy that you're going to forget even what you were thinking and what you thought unless you write it down. So write it down. It's a great little tip. The sixth reset I want you to look at is dream big without guilt. We're often made to feel guilty and how dare you want that? You know, who do you think you are? And should you want that? And you're so greedy and you're so wantful and you're so materialistic. Throw all those things out the door. I just want you to dream big without guilt. This is the final step in your reset, right? To dream big. Everyone has the right to do this and no one can take that right away from you. What's one bold move you can make in 2026? Time is fleeting. Life is not forever. Depending on what stage you are in your life, you deserve to be able to give yourself this gift of dreaming big and making big, bold movements. Is this the year to do that? Only you can answer that. Consider taking a big, scary step towards your goals. What might that be? And what does that feel like? Could it be asking for that pay rise? Is that really scary? Has that been on the cards? Is that something you've wanted to progress with and never thought you could? Is this the year to do that? Start your own business. Is that something that's been on the cards? Has that been something that's been really scary for you and you thought you just couldn't do it? Is this the year to start mapping that out, to start contemplating that, to start getting that into your thought pattern, into your processes internally? Because you got to embrace these things, you got to digest these things, you got to think about these things, and then you got to act on these things. So moving to a new state. Are you going to move to Queensland because you've had enough of Victoria? I just threw that in because I'm hearing that a lot lately. Or treating yourself to a solo date. Whatever it may be, I want you to give yourself permission to step into the new version of you. And it's okay to have a new version of you because as individuals, we should allow ourselves to grow, evolve, develop, and change on a continuous basis. If you're not doing that, you're stagnant. If you're not doing that, you're not progressing. You're not allowing yourself to be the best version of you. You need to give yourself permission to do that. Do not let anything or anyone hold you back from thinking, feeling, and progressing in that way. So the ones who've achieved those goals and the ones that live their lives according to that are the ones that live the fruitful life and move forward with intention and with purpose. And not only does that improve their life, but it improves the lives of everyone that they come into contact with and every other family member that they come into contact with or that they're continuously part of their lives. This reset can feel empowering yet overwhelming. I get the overwhelming piece. I get that. And I've shared a lot with you that can feel overwhelming. But the overwhelm it's okay. It's okay. You can break that down. You can break it down into pieces that allow you to be able to feel that empowerment to move forward. You can break it down into steps. But I will say this, no great change has come as a result of being comfortable. No great change has come easily. If you want great change, if you want something different for yourself, it's going to feel a little bit uncomfortable. It's going to feel a little bit overwhelming. You've got to really be able to embrace that, and that's okay. And you can keep coming back to it. You don't have to resolve it in one hit. You don't have to resolve it in one sitting with yourself. Have those sittings with yourself. You don't have to come to that conclusion within the first 5-10 minutes. There's no rule book. Whatever works for you. But I want you to sit in that space of potential overwhelm, because on the other side of that is where magic, sort of beautiful things happen. So focus on one thing at a time. Rome was not built in a day. Your joy, your focus, and your commitment will help you not just survive in 2026, it's going to help you thrive. So I hope that's been something that, I hope this has been the thing that you have needed to listen to, that kick in the butt to say, hey, what are you doing? And can you do things better for yourself? And do you want more for yourself? Remember, if you need help stepping forward and setting up and keeping your goals and setting new goals for the new year, you can set up a call with one of our strategists at the WOW team, and they can help you with your cash flow, your finances, investing, and so much more. We're here to help you create a secure income in retirement and to create the life that you dream of when you dream big, as I've mentioned. No matter what the goal, WOW Women is here to assist. Simply go to our website, wowwomen.com.au, click the link to our programs, and best of all, the call is absolutely free with one of our strategists. There is no obligation whatsoever. If you found today's episode to be particularly helpful, please share it with a friend, leave us a review, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And until next time, take control of your wealth and your future.